So it's Wednesday, April 20th at 5:29 p.m. Actually, it just turned 5:30 so, to be technical, and it's 2016. So this is a current. Jeez, sorry about that. I don't know. Train's really loud here. I have my windows open because it's really hot outside. So, anyway, I have something important to discuss and talk about today. This is a very serious issue, and I just want to tell my story so that other people maybe can either hear it and feel like they're not alone, or they can feel maybe empowered to do something about it. About maybe if they're going through the same situation as I am, or worse, or even better. I just want to say that recently, well, I guess to give you a backstory, this is really embarrassing to say online, but I am a long time victim of sexual abuse. And unfortunately, I've been a victim since I've been 2 years old. And so I've had a lot of, when I was sexually abused at the age of 2, and it went on for 5 years. By my cousin, and possibly another person, I'm not sure, but I guess not to give too many details, but my abuser was not caught, and was not well, he was caught, but he wasn't prosecuted, or he didn't get in trouble with the police at all. It all stayed in the family, and my dad's side of the family did acknowledge that it happened, I guess, but they didn't care, or they just kind of like brushed it under the rug, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, they just kind of were like, well, it happened, let's just make it not happen again. Once I found out that it was happening finally at the age of 7, and I say who found out, because I don't want to, I love my family, but this is a huge reason why I'm not talking to most of my father's side of the family at this point. And there's only one person on that side of the family now that I'm willing to talk to. But I guess, yeah, my family member found out, and that it was going on, and they were just like, yeah, let's just not have this happen anymore. And it just got, I don't even know if he even got a talking to about it. My family said they did, or that he did, but he never got in trouble. He grew up, he had children, he got married. And I've had to deal with this for my whole life. And I'm trying not to be bitter about it anymore, because it's not good to be bitter about things that have happened. You know, it's not good to dwell on the past. And it's not good, you know, I've learned so much in the past, like, year and a half, that since I did those blogs back then, and I was so negative, and I was so, like, just talking about things that were so bad. Like, I was talking about people, you know, and just, like, even, like, people, and just that were not, that hadn't done really anything that bad to me. Just, you know, breakups and jerky boyfriends, but, like, you know, anyway, I was such a negative person. And now, like, now that I've gone through all this, I've been homeless, I lived in my car, I had to live in a motel, I had to be at a crisis center for a while, and now, you know, and this is mostly because of what happened in my childhood. You know, now I know that, and unfortunately, I still have things I need to work on as a person, and I need to be more assertive. But and I've been a codependent person for most of my life, wanting to have somebody in my life as a, you know, comfort, have it like a man relationship, and instead of be, I hope not. I just saw that flying in the screen behind me. Oh shit. Yeah, there's a bee in my room. Better go away. But now I'm living in a shelter. And honestly, you know, despite the fact that I don't want to be in the circumstance that I am in, that, you know, I'm living in a shelter, but I'm really, really glad at this point that I'm in a shelter. Because if I had been living in my old apartment, things could have been much worse. So I'm just going to read this to you because I don't want to retell my story, and it will sound probably a lot better if I just read it. Because then I won't be like stuttering and things like that. I mean, not that it's not true or anything, because it's very, very true, and it's very, very real. But, I mean, I had a really, really bad experience on a dating website, and unfortunately, it got as far as me having to file a no contact order on this person. And I'll leave his name out because I don't want to, you know, I'll just say, protected person, restrained person. I'm the protected person, he's the restrained person, and today actually was the day that the judge granted the order. So, I'll read that first, I guess. Petitioner, protected person, me. Where you stay away from me? Go out the window. I'm sorry. I'm like really distracted by that bee. Go away. Don't come. Jeez, that thing is scaring the shit out of me. I hate bees. I'm like terrified of them, and he's right behind me. I'm gonna try to read this while he's not. So anyway, I'm probably going to cut that part out of the video because I don't want that in there. I mean, I'm going to have to edit this video. I wasn't gonna because I'm lazy. Anyway. So, yeah, district court judge in this county, and I'm not gonna say which county either, because I want to protect my privacy as well. So we're just gonna say District Court of Washington, and then petitioner, protected person, that's me, versus the respondent, the restrained person, and that's the person the no contact order is being served on. Person that I met on the dating website. Anyway, so there is a temporary sexual assault protection order and notice of hearing, and they gave me that date. And then, I guess I'm just reading this for people that maybe they want to do this and, they're just wondering how it goes. So, basically, I just went to the Domestic Violence Center and I had them fill it out. So I highly recommend that if you have this sort of situation where somebody is not leaving you alone and stalking you and threatening you or having threatening behavior towards you, that if you feel like you want to do this, then I'm not gonna say you have to do this, because people have different circumstances and they're gonna do what they're gonna do what they feel is right. If you really have feelings for the person and you feel like you can try to work it out with them, then, or something, or you change your mind that you do want to be in a relationship with them, or whatever reason, then okay. I would say give it a try, but my personal experience, this person was highly abusive and was just totally not listening to me, didn't listen to me, in regards to pretty much anything. So, when I told him to stop sexually assaulting me, he didn't do that. And when I told him to stop contacting me after he sexually assaulted me, and even before that, he didn't listen either. He just kept contacting me and, calling and leaving text messages and leaving voicemails and, all this unwanted stuff. And I really, in my eyes, in my opinion, if a person is being abusive towards you and they're not listening to your demands or to your requests, and they're just be totally overstepping your personal boundaries, then you really should try. I felt in my situation I need to take this to a higher level, because eventually it got to that point. But I do understand people who are scared and they don't want to do that, because I went through that as well. Because he threatened me when I told him I was going to call the police. And there may be people that are not in as a safe situation as I am. They may be, they may live in an apartment that's easily accessible or easy to break into, or they may not have family or any friends or people that can protect them. So I do understand that, and I don't have any I have one family member right now that's checking in on me on a daily basis in regards to this, but otherwise, it's really like I don't have any. I mean, I have like one or two friends that are also, you know, attentive and to this problem, but other than that, I don't have any other family members, and I've been relying on people here. We're at the shelter, the staff here, and security, and the police, and that's all. I don't have any. Yeah, that's it. I feel pretty alone because I'm 75 miles from the one family member that's been attentive, but you know, I guess I'm trying to get through it as best I can. Yeah, and I just don't have any other, like I said, and yeah, I had one friend help me anyway. I won't get into that. Yeah, he helped me with one of the incidents that I will tell you about in a minute that happened in regards to this, but yeah, highly recommend getting help though if you really feel like you're in danger. So yeah, I was just reading the temporary sexual assault protection order. So yeah, the court finds by a preponderance of the evidence that petitioner is victim of non-consensual sexual conduct or non-consensual sexual penetration as defined in RCW 7.9 anyway numbers by the respondent, which was him, chapter, and then blah blah, doesn't apply. Petitioner is 16 years of age or older, way older. And then the court's basically saying that that the court further finds that there is good cause to grant this temporary protection order. Regardless of prior notice, I'm trying to shorten this and make it more easy to understand. Regardless of prior notice to the person that assaulted me and has been stalking me, because they want to prevent any injury or harm to me, and even if he were not to give me any prior notice, which he didn't, with an incident that occurred. And he basically, they're just granting my efforts to provide. Don't come back in here. Stop interrupting me while I'm trying to read. Okay, finally flew out the window. Yeah, so basically they want to grant me the effort, or they want to grant my efforts to obtain judicial relief. So, yeah, it is therefore ordered that he has no contact with me in any way, shape, or form. Messages, phone calls, text messages, blah, blah. He is excluded from my residence, workplace, and he can't come within 100 feet of my residence or workplace either. and then they're forwarding a copy of the summons to the county that he lives in, which is not the county that I live in. And then he's directed to appear and show cause why this temporary sexual assault protection order should not be made, effective for up to 2 years. Why the court should not order the relief requested by the petitioner. And then if he doesn't come to the hearing, of course, he will pretty much surrender all rights, and the court will grant relief to me. Grant me the order, basically. And then what are the whys to people that are going through a no contact order, or they want to, or they're thinking about it? And this is really malicious and evil. And I hope that nobody, I guess I'll keep my comments to myself. But, yeah, if somebody decided to, if he knowingly violates this order, he will be arrested. And then he can even be arrested, even if I were, which I would never do that, because I don't ever want to talk to him again. But even if I were to message him and be like, hey, sorry about everything, let's talk again. I'm going to have this order removed or whatever. Blah, blah, you can talk to me if you want to. I won't tell anybody or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'd say. Even if I were to do that, and then, he would, and then he were to respond, he would go to jail. But I'm not going to do that, so I wouldn't. Anyway, and then there's a petition that I filled out. I'm just going to read the police report because that describes everything. And unfortunately, this person, I just found out yesterday, way after I met him 2 months ago or so, and he's been stalking me for about a month now. So basically I met him and we dated for about a month, and then he and then he stalked me for another month, and then I decided to go get help from the police, file police report and all that. And I just filed a court order today, and last night I found out that he is a sex offender, registered sex offender, and that he's a level 2, which means that he could I guess the definition of a level 2 is that he is likely to have done this to more than one person, and that he could commit this offense again, which he did, obviously, but not to it. And he assaulted a child before. It's sad. It's sick. I can't believe I try even, I don't know. I guess you don't know these things, but I wish I'd never met this person, because, even if he gets arrested and goes to jail, he still made my life a living hell, because I have to live not only with this court stuff, but I have to live with a lifelong memory and possibly mental health most likely mental health problems from having this happen to me. PTSD, anxiety, and depression, and I'm already going through stuff from my childhood still, and it's been 28 years since that first happened to me. Like, it just makes me sad because it just makes me sick and sad because, like, I didn't even have the chance to have a real life or a real childhood, and, and the person that he assaulted as well, raped, the person that he committed a crime to, they're not going to have a chance at having, a good adult life. Hopefully they'll get help, or hopefully they're getting help, and I hope that they turn out okay, but I'm concerned because in my eyes, rape and sexual crime against a minor and even against an adult is like taking your soul. I mean, it's, in my eyes, that's as bad as killing somebody, or worse, because, if you kill somebody, they're dead. They don't have life. If you rape or commit a sexual crime against somebody, they will most likely not have a normal life, and they're, it's like taking their soul out of them. I lived so many years just a shell of myself, and I still do sometimes. When I saw that yesterday that he had raped somebody that was a child, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't. That was beyond what I fathomed that he had done. I suspected that he was not a good person, but to know that to find out that he actually had committed the worst crime ever, that I feel extremely strongly against. I feel like convicted sex offenders should be ranked up there with killers, because they really do. They take your life away from you. They do. It's not I don't know, it's hard to explain, maybe, but for people that have never gone through this, but, I wouldn't have these mental problems if I hadn't had this happen to me when I was a child. It would have turned out probably pretty normal. And I'm an above average intelligence. And I could have done great things in my life. And here I am sitting in a shelter. And I'm trying not to sound negative, but I'm unemployed. I don't, I can't work at this time because of mental and physical problems, mostly mental though, because of the PTSD, and because, PTSD that goes way, way back, way back, and depression, anxiety that also is related to that, and that's what's holding me back, is that because I'm afraid. And I've been emotionally abused as well by men, who tell me that I can't ever amount to anything, and then, or restricting me from going out in public even, or, telling me that I can't hang out with friends or family, accusing me of cheating on them, making me feel like, well, I guess I should only pay attention to my boyfriend and that's it. Like, I shouldn't have a life outside of him at all. And that's, I guess, what made me so codependent, was having that. Having other codependent men, or whatever, abusive men, jealous, that would tell me that what to do and what I can't do, which isn't right. You should never do that, ever, in a relationship. You should never try to control somebody like that, because emotionally it beats them to a pulp. And it did for me. And I'm better than I used to be, but I am still, like, really far from having a normal life, especially because of what just happened to me. So, anyway, I'm gonna read this. I'll just say, this guy, because I'm not going to say his name, this guy and I met on a dating site called Plenty of Fish, POF.com, in early February. We seemed to hit it off through messages, so I decided to meet him in person. He didn't have a car at that time or a driver's license, and he claimed he was taking driving lessons for the first time at age 32. So I drove out to a corner store close to his residence. We talked for a little while at a table inside, and I told him I wasn't feeling too well because of a sinus infection. We were going to rent a movie there, but he decided not to, so we just went out to dinner. I drove us back out to town, and we went to a Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet. He seemed nice, and we were having a good conversation. After dinner, he asked me if I could drive him to Walmart across the street. I said okay, and we went there, and he picked up some things. Oops, sorry. Screen went black. I don't know if that made a difference in the video, because it's light though. I picked up a coffee pot and a bottle of vitamin D, which I needed, and he decided to buy it for me. I thanked him. We decided to go to his place. He lives in a trailer park, and I provided the address. We watched a movie from his library of DVDs. However, we didn't watch much of it because we ended up having sex for most of it. He asked me to promise to come back the next day, and I agreed. At that point, it was 2 a.m. and I got home very late. The next day I was feeling worse due to my sinus infection, and had a string of early morning 7 or 8 a.m. texts and calls from him asking me when I was planning on coming over, waking me up several times. I asked him if we could reschedule, and at that time he got extremely upset, telling me that I had promised him, and in his eyes breaking a promise is a huge deal, no matter the reason. We got in a very large argument over text and phone. He went from calling me names to accusing me of using him because he had taken me out to dinner and bought me stuff, to accusing me of faking sick and seeing another guy, to begging me to come over, sounding like he was crying over the phone, and saying that he needed me there with him at his place since his 2 cats had just got neutered that day. I still refused, saying I really couldn't make it and honestly I wasn't feeling well. He got extremely upset and told me he never wanted to see me again, calling me more names. So that was fine. 6 hours later, he texted me, telling me he had a new girlfriend, and that sorry I missed my chance. I told him good luck with his new girlfriend and to please stop contacting me. We ended talking at that point until about a week later or two, when he texted me, apologizing for fighting with me. He said that he was completely in the wrong and that he wanted to make it up to me. We then resumed talking, and eventually I agreed to see him again. He started talking sexually to me and asked for sex the next time he saw me. I told him no, that was not going to happen, and asked him to stop talking sexually to me. He got very defensive. We argued a little through text, and then he eventually agreed to my terms, saying he wouldn't try anything when I saw him next. I went back over to his place because he said he still hadn't gotten his license and that he had several more practice driving hours to complete before he could take a driving test. That evening, I picked him up and we went to Subway. On the way to Subway, he was exhibiting very controlling behavior and was telling me how to drive, telling me when to dim my brights, telling me when to put my signal on several blocks before turning, and telling me when and where to turn, etc. Even though I had been a licensed driver for 13 years, I did not ask him for directions. He would snap at me and be aggressive whenever I didn't listen exactly to his instructions. We decided to take our dinner to go and meet back at his place, renting a movie this time at the corner store. He was extremely hostile at that point, sighing when I wanted to browse the movie section longer, telling me that he wanted to just get out of here. He also made a few remarks, as he had previously as well, about my dietary choices, telling me that I should not drink soda and that I didn't need to get a Rice Krispie treat because it will make me fatter. And yeah, I do admit I'm overweight, but that's just not a very nice thing to say to somebody, especially when you're on a second date with them. Or I wouldn't even call it a date because we didn't do anything datey. We just hung out at his house and watched a movie and ate Subway anyway. When we rented the movie, due to my gut feeling, I looked at his ID when he was registering his account to rent the movie and got his legal first and last name since he had been elusive to me about his whole name. And this is stupid of me, and I'm going to add this, but he actually didn't even tell me his name, what his real name was. He never actually introduced himself with his name and said, "Hi, I'm his name." He never actually told me that. So, and it just seemed like, I think, first day I didn't say this in the police report because I just didn't want to add more stuff to it because it was already 10 pages long. Anyway, but when the first day we met, we were going to rent a movie, and he did show his ID to the lady. He was trying to register his account, but she didn't really know how, so he just was like, fuck it, let's just go. But when he showed her the ID, it was pretty clear and obvious that he was trying to hide it from me, because he kind of stepped in front of me, and there were just so many red flags. And he just stepped in front of me and handed it to her, and was kind of every time I would step, I was behind him, kind of, and into this to the right of him. And if I like stepped in any direction, he would follow that and try to. It seemed like he was trying to cover up what he was. He was trying to cover up my view, and he was just like totally just like as soon as she was done seeing his ID, he grabbed it really quick and put it away. And it was just really weird. So that's what kind of prompted me, like, and that misbehavior, the second date. So that's what prompted me to look at his ID the second date. Also, I had told him, and I didn't say this either in the police report, way too long, but, and I know I'm stupid, I should have listened to my gut that first time and never seen him again after that, but he made a couple of really snarky comments at me at even the first date, and, it was almost as if, like, we got to so we went to Walmart, and, like, I was really brief with that account when I described it in the police report, but we went to Walmart, and when we went there, it was, like, all about him, pretty much, except for the coffee pot thing. That was it. At the very end. But before that, he said, "Oh, I'm just in here, I just need to get like 2 things." And so I was like, okay, that's cool. So he started out just getting a couple things, like he got toothpaste and I don't remember. Oh, vitamins. He got the same vitamins as me. And then I was like, oh yeah, because I didn't tell him to get vitamins, but I was getting vitamins, so he was like, oh, I should get those too, because I need vitamin D, and I was like, okay, cool, well, yeah, so I thought that was all he was getting, but then he was like, oh yeah, I'm getting a car soon, so I need to get a few things for it, and I'm really excited, and I was like, okay, that's fine, and I thought it would only take a couple minutes, but he it just seemed like he knew a lot about cars. It seemed like he sure knew a lot about cars for being a first-time driver. Because I don't even have this stuff in my car and that he bought. Like, he pretty much bought like the entire automotive section, and it's like, I need brake fluid, I need windshield wiper fluid and oil, and I know what kind of oil this car needs that I'm going to buy, and I need, like floor mats and chains for the tires, and jumper cables and a couple other things, toolbox, in case something needs to be fixed or something. I don't know. It's just like really weird. This leads to what happened later. But anyway, so he was just like really, really adamant about getting his first car. So he spent like an hour and change doing that, and I was just like I started to get really impatient because I hate shopping, and I don't know a lot about cars, so I'm obviously not going to be, like, I didn't want it to be selfish and be like, let's go, I don't want to be here anymore. So I just, like, patiently waited, like, the whole time. and until the very end, when I was just like, it's getting kind of late. Like, don't you think we should like go? And he's like, oh yeah, sorry. I've been browsing around and it's been like over an hour now. So you must be really pissed off. I'm like, I'm really irritated. I didn't say that, but I was thinking in my head. I'm like, yeah, you're right on the money there. Pretty much, I'm pretty irritated. So I really just want to go. Like, let's not spend any more time fooling around in here. So anyway, he was just like, so then he, so then after that, after he finally got all the stuff he needed for his car, which again, most of it I wouldn't even think to have in my car, like a toolbox. Like, what the hell? Or even chains. Like, who needs chains around here? It doesn't even snow anymore. Like, we haven't had snow for 3 years now. Come on. Like, are you planning on driving up a mountain or something? Like, it's just weird stuff. I don't know. But then he was just like, we get to the checkout counter, and he's telling me they're checking out his stuff, and it comes to like $180, and I guess he didn't have that, so he just kind of like stood there for a minute. He's like, oh shit, like, and this was after he offered to buy me the coffee pot and the vitamins, and he's like, oh, I'll buy those for you, no problem. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I can buy them myself. Like, it's fine. He's like, no, I want to do something nice for you. So I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you very much. And, so we're standing there, and he doesn't have enough money to pay for all of his things that he had picked out, and including my coffee pot and vitamins. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's just put the coffee pot back. That's cool. Because the coffee pot was like $12 with tax. And, let's just put that back. Because he was like, I need money for gas tomorrow, to go drive my cats to the vet and stuff. I need to pay my friend to drive me. And I was like, okay. So I was trying to make it, like, I was trying to be nice and just be like, yeah, let's just put the coffee pot back. And he's like, no, that's okay. And he just started kind of like almost freaking out. And then he was just like, hey, he's just like, I'll just put the floor mats back. That's fine. And I'll just come back later and get them again, or get some cheaper ones, because they were like $25. And so I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. And so we did that, and then he continued to be like, geez, I don't know if I have enough money for tomorrow, like, and just kind of like looking my way, like, I don't know if he was expecting me to give him money, or be like, hey, well, I'll lend you $10 or something, I don't know. But this is like the first time I met him, so I'm not gonna like go ahead and offer some guy that I barely know, to borrow money from me when I don't have a lot of money myself. I mean, I live in a shelter, and I was upfront with him about that too. And then, when I told him that, he's like, oh, geez, are you okay? Like laughing at me. He's like, oh, do you need help? Like, he's like, geez, maybe I should have bought something else for you besides the coffee pot. You know, it sounds like you're really needy. And like, he did it in a way that was like really, he said it in a way that was really like demeaning and condescending. So it was just like, kind of hurt. But anyway, to go on with the stuff. So this is the second date again. Second date. And we just rented a movie. And we went back to his place and eventually watched the movie and ate our dinner. And we're really getting a lot high up there on time, so I'm going to just finish reading this and stop. He finished his dinner faster than me and started rubbing my leg and kissing on me while I was still trying to eat my dinner. When I didn't respond, he appeared to get upset and then laid under his covers, turning away from me. I asked him what was wrong, and he told me in a sad tone that I wasn't paying any attention to him. I told him I was still eating dinner and was sorry and will cuddle with him in a moment, but again was very clear that I wasn't in the mood for sex tonight. He then got very upset and said, "Why do you have to say it like that?" I then referred to a sexual text the night before and asked him, well, why do you have to talk to me like that and expect sex? I told him I didn't want this to turn into a completely sexual relationship, and that I'm not that type of woman, and I'm not going to be in the mood every time I see him. He then pretended to cry, as it seemed anyway, and said that I was being really mean to him. I continued to tell him that I didn't want sex, but one thing led to another, and eventually he coerced me into having sex with him. After that, I didn't hear from him for about a week or two. I didn't want to see him again, but he resumed sending relentless and countless texts and calls and voicemails and kept pushing and pushing me to see him. Jealous behavior continued, as well as abusiveness and jealousy and control. I told him to stop contacting me, and again he brought up how he took me out to dinner and bought things for me. Then he eventually apologized again, and a couple of weeks later I decided to see him again on restricted circumstances. And this was, and I don't know why didn't I? Oh yeah, because that happened after that. Okay. So, March 13th, I told him I only wanted to meet him in a public place. There was absolutely no chance that he would come over to my place. He had gotten his driver's license at this time and agreed to come up and see me that day. Met at a movie theater. When I got there, I texted him I was there. He hadn't even left his place. Told me that it'd be 45 minutes. And I basically told him I just wanted to go home if he hadn't even left yet. But he told me, he basically persuaded me and said that he'd get there as fast as he could and begged me to wait. And he kept sending me texts and calling me every 10 minutes, telling me that he was almost there and not to leave. When he finally got there, he texted me and told me, and when I didn't answer right away, he then texted, "Oh no, you did not just leave," after I drove all the way up here. Called him right away and said I was there. We met inside the theater, and he asked me how much the movie would cost. I told him, and he said he couldn't afford that because he had wasted an extra $10 speeding to get up here, and begged me to let him come over and just watch a movie. And he would get a Subway for dinner. Again, Subway was the popular choice, I guess, for him. And unfortunately, I agreed to let him come over, and because I felt bad, the weather was so bad that day. and he had driven up to see me, and that's like 30 miles. So we got dinner, then we both drove to my residence. And when I signed him in, he asked me to use a different name and not to put his last name down, basically. And I was just like, why? Why do you want to do that? He's like, oh, well, I don't want anybody to know I'm here, basically. I just might have some ex-girlfriend or something. And I asked him to elaborate. Which I was like, that's weird. Should have. I mean, I guess I can't really play the I should have card, but whatever, I guess. So, we had plans to watch a movie, and I'm just going to shorten this up because I don't want to go into detail about what happened. But I was very firm with him that I didn't want any kind of sexual or any physical even contact. I didn't want him touching me or doing anything. And he did. And I kept telling him no the whole time. And then, while he was doing that, I basically went into child mode. I basically just went into, like, play dead kind of thing. Like, I didn't resist because, I did say no several times, and I was like, can we please stop? But I didn't scream or do anything like hit him more or try to get him off or get him to stop physically because I was scared. I didn't want him to do anything like punch me or hurt me with a weapon or do something. I don't know. I didn't know if he had any knives on him or any weapons of any kind. So I was just like, I'm just gonna, stay quiet and do what he says. Basically, I did. Eventually, that's what I did because I was scared and I didn't want him to harm me. He was so aggressive. And I know this is going to sound really, really, really weird. But I feel like when he was doing his things to me, I saw it was like I saw the devil in him. Like his face, the look on his face. It was like he was the devil. And it was so weird. And even in his picture, with the Sex Offender Registry, he looks very sinister and very just insidious. He looks awful. So, I just couldn't believe it. It just was scary. But anyway, I just wanted it to get done and over with, so that he would leave and hopefully leave me alone. And he did get done, and he did leave pretty much right after. But he just continued to contact me after that, and it was so bad. I don't know. I kept ignoring him and ignoring him and ignoring him, and he would just continue to bombard me with texts and calls, and he found me on Facebook, even though I have a different last name than my legal name on there, and it just was really, really bad. Like, I don't even know how he found me on Facebook, because my profile was so, like, it was not easy to find. Did not tell him my email address. I did not tell him what name that I was under on Facebook. And I don't even live in the same county as him, so I have no idea how he found me. He claims that he found me under the people you may know, but we don't have any mutual friends, and I just don't get it. I don't understand. So, anyway, he continued to do that, and then one day while I was coming back from getting groceries, it was on a Sunday, and I was getting out of my car, and he drove by, and basically, he didn't stop. He actually, I was getting out of my car, and he like accelerated while I was doing that, and I was like, what the heck, why is somebody accelerating in an alley? And I turned around, and I saw his car like right there, like accelerating away from me, and like by the time I tried to catch his license plate, he was too far away. He was going pretty fast, and I don't know. And then 2 days after that, like I went inside right away, and I was like scared. No staff or anything was there, and I went inside, and I stayed inside for like 2 days, and came back out. Was going to go to an appointment to see my counselor, and then while I was leaving, the axle just came completely disconnected from the tire. And this has never happened before. This is just weird, weird activity. I hadn't had any problems with the axle before either. Like, no noises, no anything. It was fine. And I'd driven this car for a year, driven it thousands of miles, probably like 10,000 miles, and no problems. So I don't get it. And also another thing, it was not even that. It wasn't even a big thing. It wasn't like the axle broke. There was a screw missing. And that was it. The main screw connecting the axle to the tire broke off. Not broke off, came out and went missing. I looked everywhere for it. I was like, is there a screw anywhere? Like, I was looking in all the parking spaces because maybe it rolled off or something. I looked in the garden next to the parking lot. I looked in the parking lot where the axle actually broke, the place where the axle actually became disconnected. I looked there. I looked in the parking spot. It wasn't anywhere. It's as if somebody just took it out and then got rid of it somehow, got rid of the evidence, and it was bizarre. And I'd just seen the guy 2 days before driving through my alley. So at that point, like, he continued to message me. Before that happened, right before that happened, like a day before, I had threatened to call the police on him. And I was like, because he just kept on messaging me, calling me, would not stop. No matter what I did, ignoring him didn't work. telling him to stop didn't work. Nothing worked. So I was just like, you know what? If you keep contacting me, I'm going to call the police on you because I don't want to talk to you anymore. And he threatened me at that point. And he's like, do it. I dare you. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like me. Yeah, basically. So it was like, shit. Well, you know, and then like a day later, I saw him drive by, and then the car thing happened, and then I was like, oh my god, maybe this is like a warning, you know. So then I didn't tell anybody about it at all, even when the car, well, except for suggesting to my friend, do you think this could have been messed with or something? Like, do you think? And he was like, maybe. I don't know. But I didn't tell anybody anything else, or him, my friend that fixed it for me. Luckily, it wasn't a really expensive fix. So, but just bizarre and scary. So, yeah, went on for a couple more weeks with him relentlessly texting me. I blocked him on the dating profile that we met, and he made another profile and continued to contact me. And then at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And well, first I told him, didn't I just block you? Like, you made another profile. Are you serious? Like, please stop contacting me. Obviously, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And he again was like, how dare you? You know, after all I've done for you, after things I bought for you, me taking you out to dinner again, you know, like, I'm just like, dude, I was about to respond and just be like, and engage again, but then I was just, and get in an argument again with him, but then I was just like, you know what, I'm done talking to this guy, and I blocked him again, and I went and talked to a friend who lives here at the shelter, and told her what was going on. She's like, yeah, you need to go with the cops. So I did. And then I told the cops what happened. And the cops were like, yeah, you got sexually assaulted. And obviously the stalking is a huge problem. And so then they referred me over to the domestic violence center, and then I was like, and then I talked to them, and then they helped me fill out the petition to get him restrained or no contact order. And then, yeah, unfortunately, he's done this before, which I was really wanting to believe that he didn't do that kind of thing before, that maybe he just became obsessed with me or something, and this was like a first time thing. But no, of course not. You know, I'm just like really angry. I'm so angry at him, especially, but angry at myself too that I didn't look him up first, or while we were dating, you know, because I feel like I should have, you know. But then again, in hindsight, why would I do that? Like, I don't know. I didn't know the things that I know now, so. And so I guess if you've listened this far, we cut out the. Yeah, there was a bee in my room, and I was trying to swat it away, so I'm gonna cut that out and probably this part too that I'm talking right now. But yeah, he has done this before and to a child, and that's sickening and that's horrible. And I hope that they do put him in jail, because I don't want another child or another person like me who is naive and who wants to believe the best in people, you know, that not every, you know, who wants to be optimistic and think that, oh no, it can't be like a Lifetime movie, you know, like people can't really be that bad, you know, but it really is that bad, and it's worse actually than I thought it was going to be. So like, it's just scary. It's bad. You have to be careful. Be careful with the dating sites, because you never know who you may be talking to. So that's just what I want to say. Just bad. So maybe a really bad person out there that just wants to prey on you. So I'm just trying. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done talking. So thanks for listening, and I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know. I will post this when, hopefully in a couple days. Not right now, because I don't feel very safe right now posting it. But I want to make sure, hopefully, that he's in jail before I post this video, for obvious reasons. Because if he can find me on Facebook without any prior knowledge of my information, that, like, if he can do that, then who knows what else he can do. Maybe he might be watching my YouTube videos and stuff, so I just really don't feel safe posting this video right now, and I will post it when I feel safe, or when I know that something has been done by the police, hopefully arrest. But yeah, as soon as I feel safe, I'll post this. Alright, talk to you later. Bye.